Alright, so these solutions to the homework packet I gave out today. Alright, so for the SAT subject test, the math 1. So number 1, if x over 3x plus 2 is equal to 1/4, what is x? This is pretty simple. You can just cross multiply. So you have 4x is equal to 3x plus 2. Take the x to the other side. X is equal to 2. Correct? Yes. Alright, if all else fails, you having like a brain fart and you forget how to do algebra, you can always just plug in your answers. The way you always plug in your answers is always start with the middle number. You plug in 1. 1 divided by 5 is 1/5. That's too small, so you got to go bigger. So next one you try 2. 2 divided by 6 plus 2 is 8. So 8 is 1/4. Alright, if you ever forget algebra, you can always use your multiple choice answers to your advantage. Number 2, if x is equal to 2, then what is the value of x minus 1 times x plus 3? Well, you just plug in 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. 2 plus 3 is 5. 1 times 5 is 5. So these are the first couple questions of a test or practice test. The first ones are always the easiest, so make sure you get those right. Don't do any dumb mistakes. So next one, x divided by 1 over 4. So remember, when you're dividing, it's the same. When you're dividing, you have to flip over the second digit, second thing, and then multiply. So it's x times 4. So it's 4x. So the answer is E. Number 2. Sorry, the camera's shaky today. My stand's loose. 2x plus 5 times x plus 4 across multiply. You're doing the FOIL method. So it's this and this and that and that. So 2x times x is 2x squared. 5x plus 8x is 13x. And 5 times 4 is 20. So the answer is C. Again, if you have any questions at all, always just feel free to email me back with the questions or what, how I got an answer. All right, next one. What is the slope of the line of 3 times x minus 1 plus 4y is equal to 0? So let's take the 4y to the other side. Doesn't matter which one you take over. You're left with 3 times x minus 1 is equal to negative 4y. Let's just multiply the 3 across. So it's negative 3x plus 3 is equal to negative 4y. So you got to divide by negative 4. Divide by negative 4. So you're left with 3/4 x plus 3 over 4. So the slope is the digit in front of the x. So the answer is 3/4. So the answer is A. Again, these are the first ones. The first ones are going to be easy, but they do get a little bit harder. Just a tad bit harder. But everything's easy if you've had enough practice. Alright. In the figure, again, don't laugh at my figure. I do the best I can. What is the sum of angle 1 and angle 2? So this is angle 1, this is angle 2. Now you may be thinking, wait, they don't give me any numbers. How am I supposed to do this? Well, let's figure it out. So angle 1. So let's use our rules. So this angle 1 is the same as this angle, right? So using the 0, this angle is the same as this angle, okay? So the 0, this is the same, but these two add up to 180, so this one has to be the same as well. Or this kind of looks like a weird Z, so they're the same. So this is 1, but then opposite are also the same. So this is 1. So angle 3 is actually the same thing as angle 1. Now, when you add two angles that are split, they have to add up to 180. So angle 1 plus angle 2 have to add up to 180. So again, we have to use a 0. So opposite, then the 0, then opposite again. It'll give us 180. The next one. Oh, sorry for not numbering, guys. I totally forgot. I feel like on Monday, even though it's Tuesday. If a and b are non-zero numbers, and a cubed times b to the raised to negative 3 powers equal to 19, then what is the value of a divided by b? So let's rewrite this. Remember, if you have a negative exponent, it means you take it to the bottom, and then you just take it to the bottom, keep the same power. So it's a cubed divided by b cubed is equal to 19. So we want ab. Now, this is the same thing as saying a over b raised to the third is equal to 19. How do we get raised to the third power? We take the cube root of it. Cube root, sorry guys. So what is the cube root of 19? I don't have my calculator right now. So 19 raised to the 1 divided by 3 power is 2.668, so 2.67. So the answer is B. Number 2. If the square root of x is equal to the cube root of 8, what is the value of x? So first, let's simplify this. The cube root of 8 is 2. You should know that by now. If you don't, you can always plug it into your calculator. But you should know it's 2. So when you have square root of x equal to 2, how do you get rid of the square root? We take the square of it. But what do you do to one side? You have to do to the other side. So this turns into x is equal to 4. Answer is D. Next one. So what is the absolute value of negative 2 plus the absolute value of negative 1 minus 1? Alright, so you always work inside out. If you have negative 2 plus absolute value of negative 1 is 1 minus 1. So you have negative 2 plus 1, which is negative 1. And negative 1 minus negative 1 is negative 2. But we have the absolute value of negative 2, which is 2. So the answer is 2. Pretty simple. A little bit harder. Just a tad bit. I don't think I went over probabilities with you, so I'll make another video later tomorrow morning and send it and put it up on YouTube. A certain event has only 3 possible outcomes. The probabilities of the first 2 are 0.3 and 0.4. What is probability of the third one? So when we're talking about probability, the most you can have is probability of, I think spell that out, of 1. Okay, your probabilities have to add up to 1 or 100%. Okay, so they all add up to 1 or 100%. So this is 0.3 plus 0.4 plus another probability has to equal to 1. So you have 0.7 plus x is equal to 1, so x is equal to 0.3. So the answer is B. Alright, so for all probabilities, they always add up to 1. So that's one thing we have to remember. Okay, all probabilities have to add up to 1. Alright, the perimeter of the rectangle ABCD in the figure above is 28. So this plus this plus this plus this is 28. What is the circumference of the circle with the center O? So the center is O. So the center is O, it means this is the radius, and that's also the radius. So now, we're at rectangles, and whenever you cut a rectangle in half, or any quadrilateral, not any quadrilateral, but a rectangle or square in half, you make right triangles, because rectangles and squares have right angles in the corners. So this is 6, and this is x, and this is something else. We gotta figure out what x is. But to give us a big hint, the perimeter is 28. Man, my stand's really wobbly today. Sorry. It's 28. So it's 6 plus x plus 6 plus x. So we have 12 plus 2x is equal to 28. So 2x is equal to 16. So x is equal to 8. So this is 8. So x is 8. So now we do, remember, just like I always said, Decity loves to use multiples of a 3, 4, 5 right triangle. This is a multiple of a 3, 4, 5 right triangle. This is 3. That's 4. So it means this is 5. So 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times 2 is 8. So 5 times 2 is 10. So A to C is 10. So our diameter. So we want circumference. Circumference is equal to 2 pi r, or the diameter times pi. So the diameter is 10. So the circumference is 10 pi. So the answer is C. Robin walked 3 miles to a particular groceries to buy her favorite spaghetti sauce. If she doubled her pace as she stayed home and the road trip took 80 minutes, what was her pace walking to the store? Alright, so this one was a little bit tricky. Not gonna lie. The math setup isn't that hard. You just have to convert. I converted all of these into minutes because this is miles per hour. So I just convert it to miles per minute. So the way you do that, you just multiply by 60. 60 minutes, okay? Or divide by 60 minutes. And you end up with this. Alright, so let's see. Miles per hour. You want per minute. So 1 hour. Yeah, you have to divide by 60. For each one you get miles per minute. So that gets a little bit easier. But honestly, the first way I did it was just to pick numbers. 'Cause I was a little bit stumped. Not going to lie, I was a little bit stumped by this one. So I used a strategy that's taught you the first time. You pick a number in the middle and see what it gives you. So this is 4.94 miles per hour. So this is 4.94 miles per hour. So it's to travel 3 miles. So you divide by 3, then multiply by 60. That gives you how many minutes you have. And then you double it. So let me do it. So let's see. So you first have 4.94, right? So to go 3 miles, you have to divide 3 by 4.94 to tell you the time. That's how many hours it took you to go 3 miles. So it's 3 divided by 4.94 is 0.607287. But this is in miles per hour, but we want per minutes. So this is hours. So we need to multiply this by 60 to get the minutes. So you multiply that by 60. And so this is 36.44 minutes. So now you double it. So 4.98. So 4.94 times 2 is 9.88. So again, we have to divide again by 3. So 3 divided by 9.88 is 0.30365. We multiply that by 60 because again that's in hours. We want minutes. So that's 18.22. So now we add the first half, which is 36.44 minutes, plus 18.22. And that's 54. We don't want 54. So that's too high. So C is too high. So you know D is going to be too high and E is too high. So now you're left with A and B. So next one, just try B. So 3.88. So 3 miles divided by, divided by 3.38 is 0.8876 hours. Multiply by 60 to get the minutes, and you get 53.25. So you double it now, or if you double it, it will be half of this. So what's half of that? Is 26.63. You add those two together, 53.25 plus 26.63 gives you 79.88, which is really close to 80 minutes. So the answer is B. You can't do the math way, but it was took a little bit too long. This way actually took me less. If you have any questions again, just email me so we can do this one again. All right, the next one. The coach of the basketball team is trying to pick a starting lineup. He has to fill 5 positions: a point guard, a shooting guard, a small forward, a power forward, and a center. If the roster has 4 point guards, 2 shooting guards, 4 small forwards, 1 power forward, and 5 centers, how many different possible starting teams can he select? So this is one of the first things we did. So remember, when you have multiple options, all you do is just multiply them together. Just like we did when you have 3 shirts and 4 pants, how many outfits you can make? It's the amount of shirts you have times the number of pants you have, okay? So we're going to multiply all of them. So there's 4 point guards, so it's 4 times 2 times 4 times 1 times 5. And that gives you, let's see, 4 times 2 times 4 times 1 times 5. It's 160. So there's 160 possible ways to make a lineup with those many players. The next one. In the figure above, triangle ABC is an isosceles triangle, and triangle ADC is an equilateral triangle. If x is 15, what is the value of y? All right, so this is 15. So it's an isosceles. It means these two angles have to be the same. Okay, so this angle has to be the same as this angle. So now this is an equilateral. Equilaterals have the same sides. So each side must have the same angle. So triangles have 3 angles. 180 divided by 3 is 60. So this is 60. This is 60. This is also 60. So this side has to be the same as this side. So 15 plus 60 is 75. So this is 75. This angle here, 75. So that means this angle here is also 75. 75 plus 75 is 150. It's 150. And again, the sum of angles inside a triangle is 180. So 180 minus 150 is 30. So y has to be 30. Okay. Pretty simple. Next one. In the figure above, what is the value of theta in terms of x and y? So we can do this because you said, all y'all said y'all know how to do degrees and angles, so this should be pretty simple. So we want theta, so the only thing we have is x and y, and no, you're not going to do the square root of y squared plus y of square root of y squared plus x squared. And if you ever get lost, you have no idea where to start, look at your answers and see what they give you. Everything is inverses, so what do you think your answer is going to be in inverse form? So you have x and y. So what uses the both legs? Tangent. So you have tangent theta of opposite over adjacent. So x over y. So how do you solve for theta? You got to take the tan inverse of both sides, because that's how you get rid of the tan. So it's tan inverse. So you have theta is equal to tan inverse of x over y. So C. Alright. In the figure above, circle O has a radius of 1. So this is 1, that's 1. What is the area of the shaded region? Alright. So this is 90 degrees. So we know we're going to take 90 degrees off. So circle has 4. Sorry guys. Has 360. It's 360 degrees. So you can imagine. So this is split up into, so we took a fourth off the area. All right. So since the radius is 1 and the formula for area is pi r squared, we're left with pi times 1 squared, which is just pi. So since this is 90 degrees and a circle is 360, means we have 3/4 of it remaining. So what's 3/4 of pi? Well, 3 pi divided by 4. All right. Oh, sorry, guys. Which of the following is equal to 0 if I squared is equal to -1? So I is just I. That's not 0. I squared minus I, that's -1 minus I. That's definitely not 0. I cubed is just, it's I squared times I, so that gives you a negative I. That's definitely not 0. I squared is -1. I to the 4th is I squared times I squared, so -1 times -1, which is +1. So you have -1 plus 1, which is 0. So your answer is D. This is an easy one, guys. We did this one a lot. The circle in the figure above has center O. A minor arc AB, so this is the arc AB. Remember, now we're doing arc length with the length 3 pi. So this is 3 pi. And the angle of AOB is 60 degrees. So this is 60 degrees. What is the area of circle O? So now we want this area. Okay. So this is 60 degrees. And again, a circle has angles of what? A total angle of 360. So how many times does 60 go into 360? 6 times. There's going to be 6 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 6. So this is 3 pi, 3 pi, 3 pi, and 3 pi. So it's 3 pi times 6, which is 18 pi. So the circumference is, remember, all the way around is 3 pi, is 18 pi. So circumference is equal to 18 pi. Circumference is 2 pi r. So it's equal to 18 pi. Divide both sides by 2 pi. So r is equal to 9. So the radius is 9. But the question is asking for the area. Area is equal to pi r squared. So we have pi times 9 squared, which is 81 pi. So the answer is D. 81 pi. Alright. X is an odd integer and y is an even integer. Which of the following must be equal to an odd integer? Now you can remember all the rules we said. So an odd times an odd is odd. Odd times an even is even. Alright. Odd plus an odd is even. And an even plus an even is even. Okay? So, or you can just make up numbers. So either one. Let's just always make up numbers, so because this it's kind of confusing. So let's say x is odd, so let's say it's 1, and y is even. So let's say 2. Alright, so 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 4 is 4. So that 2 plus 4 is 6. So that's even. We want odd. So 1 squared is 1. Yeah, minus 1 plus x times y, which is 2. So 1 minus 1 is 1. I mean, it's 0 plus 2 is 2, which is even. We don't want that. 3y. So 3 times y, 3 times 2 is 6. That's even. D. So it's 4 times 1 times 2, which is 8. 8 minus 2 squared is 4. So that's 4. That's even. We don't want that. So so obviously E is your answer. But let's just plug it in just to be sure. So we plug it in. You have 1 minus 4, which is negative 3. So that is an even number. Or we go back. No, I forgot to do even plus odd. Sorry. 3 plus 2 is 5, so that's odd. Alright? So we have those two possibilities. Alright. So the answer is E. Sorry, guys. So E. So you either memorize this or you just plug in numbers. And that's pretty much all you have to do. Next one. The equation of the line that passes through 5, 7, and 7, 3 is given by which of the following equations? Oh, I forgot to write equations. So, we have to figure out, we have to write this self-intercept form. So it's always rise over run, so y's divided by the x's. So 7 minus negative 3 divided by 5 minus 7. So that's 10 over negative 2. So our slope is negative 5. So negative 5. So you cancel this one and that one already. So it's time running out. You can just guess. So now, plug in either one of them. So let's plug in 7. So negative 3 is equal to negative 5 times 7 plus b. So negative 3 is equal to negative 35 plus b. Take 35 to the other side. You're left with negative 3 plus 35, which is 32. So b is 32. So the answer is C. Next. What is the sum of the length of diagonal AB? So sorry guys, again, I don't draw. I'm not the best drawer, but in the SAT, they will have way better drawings than mine. So it's the front corner, the front bottom corner to the front left bottom corner to the top right back corner. That length plus the length of the bottom front right corner all the way to the top left back corner. Okay, so we have this. So we need this diagonal as well to complete the triangle, and we also need this length here to complete the triangle. All right, so we want AB and PQ. So AB, so we need this diagonal here. So the height is 5. So we want the base. So we don't know what it is. So this is 11 and 4. So this again we have to use quadratic equations. So we have this is the square root of 11 squared plus 4. All right. So the square root of that. Oh, we don't really need the square root. We just leave it squared. So that's 121 plus 16, which is 137. So this is 137. The square root of 137. So now we have this. So now we add. Now we raise it to the 5th. So now we have square root of 137 as our base and our height. Again, we do Pythagoras theorem again. We square it, so we have 137 plus 25, which is 162. So this here, so AB is the square root of 162. So now the next one, kind of going to be the same thing, just to be sure. Pretty sure it's going to be the same thing. Just do it again. So now the diagonal is going to be the same as the square root of 137. Because it has the same length and height, and the height's going to be the same. So this is square root of 162 as well. So it's going to be 2 times square root of 162. You just plug that into your calculator. Which I don't know what it is. 8 times 2. Which would be 25.46. Alright, one more time. I know it's a little bit hard to visualize because I have crappy handwriting. So, we want the diagonal, right? And then we want the height. We already have the height. So we want the length, which is our diagonal. So we do Pythagoras theorem. So the square root of 11 squared plus 4 squared. So it's 121 plus 16, which is 137. Alright, so the square root of 137. Now our height is 5. So we do Pythagoras theorem again to get the diagonal. So it's 137 plus 25, which gives you 162. So AB is the square root of 162. Now, from front and back, it will be the same thing because this diagonal follows the same thing. It has the same height and the same length, which is, okay, the same thing, square root of 137. The height is the same as this height, so it will be the same thing, so 162. So it's 2 times square root of 162, which is D. Alright, if the area of the circle O is 49 pi, so 49 pi, so that means our radius is equal to 7. That should come right away. So this is 7, this is 7, so this whole thing here is 14. What is the perimeter of triangle ABC? So this is the same, and this is 14. So we know what? This and this. So this makes it a 45, 45, 90 rule. According to that, our hypotenuse is always what? In a 45, 45, 90 triangle, our hypotenuse is a square root of 2. Okay? So a square root of 2 is equal to 14. So it means a is equal to 14 divided by square root of 2. But again, we don't want square root of 2's in the bottom, so just put it on top. So it's 14 square root of 2 divided by 2, which is 7 square root of 2. So this is 7 square root of 2, and this is 7 square root of 2. Now it says for perimeter. So perimeter, we just add. So 7 square root of 2 plus 7 square root of 2. 7 square root of 2 plus 7 square root of 2 plus 14. So the leg plus the hypotenuse. So that's 14 square root of 2 plus 14. So the answer is E. So again, really simple. So once you see the area, you should, or the circumference, you should know the angle right away. You should know the radius right away. All right. So the radius is 7, meaning the diameter is 14. And since this leg is the same as this leg, we know we have to do a 45, 45, 90 rule. So it means the hypotenuse is equal to a square root of 2 or x square root of 2. It doesn't matter. So we have a is equal to 7 square root of 2. Now we have the perimeter. So we add, and add. So the answer is E. And that is it. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to email me, please. Besides that, I'll drop off another packet on Wednesday. If not, just give me a call. I think, no, I won't have time to drop off a packet tomorrow. But just email me with any questions, any concerns, and tomorrow morning I'll upload the probability video. All right, it's really basic. All right, thank you guys. Good luck studying.